I love you with my heart, with my soul, with every fibre of my entire being. Together we can make this world a much more harmonious place. Today I'm going to share with you 3 simple tips that you must use when you're channeling. It's so easy for not so nice forces to come into your space when you're channeling and disguise themselves as something that is beautiful, something that is kind, something that is angelic, something that you would normally trust, because you've been conditioned and taught to perceive these particular aspects of reality as good. But that doesn't mean that they're good. And we live in this universe where everything's energy, everything's light, everything's alive. Things can manifest and distort and be created, destroyed, recreated, all in the same space. And when you're channeling, it's easy for an angel to come into your space, share some information with you, whether it's through direct telepathic communication, whether it's an internal knowing, whether it is a communication in the form of some kind of geometric pattern which you just register with your right brain and you know and you understand and you remember. There's lots of ways that we get these communications. Now, these angels or whatever it is that may appear in your space, it could be a relative that's passed on, mother, father, auntie, uncle, son, daughter, whatever it is, something that you would normally trust. So they disguise themselves. They mask themselves and they come into your space. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't. You can always feel them if you drop down into your heart, and they'll pass information on to you. Now, if you ever get a piece of information that's coming through that is of a darker nature or of a more negative nature, it means that you are being infiltrated. Now, it may not be a personal attack on you specifically, because we're all connected, and the so-called powers that be that know how to manipulate reality, bend time and space and create and recreate patterns within this matrix that we live in, they know how to send out a message into this consciousness, this space, this bountiful and rich material, for not want of a better word, this substance, this invisible to the naked eye substance that is malleable, like Play-Doh, and they can put whatever information they want into this substance and it filters down into whoever is connected at that time, consciously trying to channel information through an extraterrestrial race, through an angelic realm, or through some other kind of realm that they're trying to connect to. Now, I'm not saying that these realms do or don't exist, okay? What I'm saying is, sharing with you, is that not everything that you feel, see and know in your internal reality or external reality, in your consciousness, is 100% accurate all of the time. So, there's 3 things that we should always do when we're channeling. Number 1, when you receive a piece of information, you question that piece of information. Once you've questioned it, you internalize it and you feel it. You feel it and you feel it. And once you've felt it, you question it again. Okay? You question, you feel, you question. And then you might need to repeat the process. You might need to question it again. Because you can take the cloak off the entity or the being that has come through into your space, and they can shapeshift into something else. I've had a lot of experiences on my spiritual journey that has enabled me to have a really good standpoint on this particular topic. I remember back to end of 2005, 2006, I was sort of green on my spiritual journey, and I went to a house with a group of friends, and the guy there was giving a talk on 2012 and the end of the Mayan calendar, and we found this on the internet. We drove down there, we went to this talk, sat in this old dated bungalow, and this guy was giving a talk, and I asked him a question. I wasn't trying to be rude or contradictive, but I just had a genuine question, and he held my stare, and I'm looking at him with my eyes open, just like I'm looking at this camera right now, sharing with you, and his face just disappeared, and there was a reptilian, a green reptile that looked like a lizard, you know, and I'm staring at it. I'm not seeing this with my mind's eye, this is my real eyes are looking at this guy's face, and there is a reptilian staring at me, looking deep into my soul, and on the inside I'm thinking, fuck man, what the fuck's going on? On the outside I'm trying to look cool and keep a brave face and, you know, stay cool as a cucumber. But on the inside I'm thinking, you know, I was melting. You know, there was some fear kicking up inside of me. This was my first experience. And up until this point in my life, no one had ever told me about reptilians, or I'd not even read about it in their books or seen it on the internet. This was completely new. So I'm sat there, after maybe 10 seconds, it seemed like an eternity, but his face just came back again and he carried on talking. And that was kind of my sort of first introduction to the darker side of the universe, and it sent me exploring. With the healing work that I do now, I get people from all over the world contact me that are having major issues, that are being beaten down, their minds are warped, taken over, their thoughts aren't their own, they're in terrible depressive states, some of them are suicidal, and it's because they're being infiltrated by fourth dimensional entities in other spaces, or rather fourth density or fifth density species or races from other spaces. Yes, some of them live amongst us in this 3D reality, but most of us can't see them with our physical eyes. Yet when you train yourself, you can see them with your mind's eye very easily, and if you can't see them, you'll be able to feel them through the vibratory rates that they're giving off and that you're tuning into as you kind of move through the space that you're in. Just to give you an example where we've done some inner child work, I've tapped in and tracked back through time continuums into different realities, and I've seen the man or the woman's inner child, let's say 4 or 5 years old, that's been lonely, rejected, abandoned, hurt, and is really fragmented from the whole, from the soul that they're supposed to be connected to, and they're a little bit lost. And when I've tried to bring them into healing, I've seen inside the inner child one of these malevolent, ET, darker entities, and these things are ancient. I've had people in my workshops say some crazy things because they've got these things inside of them, and it's trying to speak through because it doesn't like the light, it doesn't like the atmosphere and the environment that it's in, because it wants to rape and pillage its host for a lot more time to come. You know, I've had people come to me in exhibitions and they're ripping their own faces out, and you can see that their backs are like big hunchbacks and they look huge, and these are women, and their hands are like ogres' hands, and they're speaking in this crazy voice, and when we've taken the entity out from them, all of their hands change back, their shoulders sort of go back down to like feminine shoulders, their voice changes. These things are real, okay? I'm telling you right now, these things are real. And that doesn't mean that you need to be scared, it's nothing at all to fear, but you've just got to be aware, because when you're aware, you know how to deal with it. And your awareness can tap in to everything when you train it to. And it takes discipline. It takes discipline. You've got to meditate, you've got to eat clean, you've got to live inside of your heart and get out of your head. You've got to realize that you're light, realize that you're consciousness, and realize that you're super powerful. And every time you're tuning in to this universal fabric, this cosmic web of light that contains all the information that ever has been, is, and ever will be, right now in this space. You can tap into that, because I'm no different from you. I didn't used to believe in any of this shit. I used to think it was all a load of bollocks, okay? A complete load of mumbo jumbo. But things changed for me. I had experiences, and you can't knock some of these experiences. They're real. So when you have these kind of experiences and they become more regular, and then you start to work with this light, work with this energy, and you start to realize what we are involved in. And what we are involved in is a crazy game. But you know what? This game is fun, okay? When you kick back, put your feet up, and you say, right, I'm going to live in my heart, I'm going to live from a place of truth, authenticity, and love, magic rolls into your life. But you've got to be prepared to want to venture down this road and realize that there is a war taking place right now in the universe for this planet, for your soul, for the collective consciousness of mankind. This is no joke, but at the same time it is, because you got to treat it like a laugh, like a joke, like a game, but at the same time it is serious on the other hand, because if the so-called powers that be that are being controlled and doing deals with off-planet races and also on-planet races that are buried deep in bunkers in various different strategic locations around our planet continue to do deals and manipulate us through our 3D environment, such as the media, such as our food, such as our water. Okay, you've heard me say all this stuff before, but I'm just repeating it because it has to be repeated, because people hear things and listen to things, internalize things, and then something happens tomorrow or 25 minutes later and they get distracted. This is what happens in life. It's a big distraction. That's part of the game, to distract you from what's real and true. And what's real and true is inside of your own heart. You know all the information. This is nothing new. This is ancient. This has been going on for millennia, for billions and billions of years. And you, my friend, are a spiritual being having this human experience. You've been through all of this before, in a number of different realities. So, embrace it, enjoy it, love it. When you're channeling, make sure that you connect, that you question, that you internalize, you feel, you question again, and then you re-question, and you feel until you're 100% sure. And then you go with your heart. Not with your head, with your heart, because this is where the war takes place. This is where the battle's happening for your consciousness, for the right passage of your soul. Love is the answer. Love is the key. Love is the question. Love is all there is. No ifs, buts, or maybes. My brother, my sister, I love you. With my heart, with my soul, with every fibre of my entire being. Together we really can make this world a much more harmonious place. Teamwork is the key. Let's open our hearts, let's live with love, let's question everything we see, question everything we feel, question the thoughts inside of our own heads, and let's live from a space of continued awareness, so we know the truth. We are the truth. We unleash our divine inherent nature to be superhumans, to allow these strands of DNA that are locked inside these double helixes to open up. So all of the information, all of the knowledge, all of the wisdom, all of the truth that lies within every cell of your being can rise to the surface and make this world a much more harmonious place. I'll see you again real soon. One love, my friend.